Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm doing pretty good myself, thank you. This the old ham and egg here, the old geezer Bob, and got my coffee cup. That's the Bob coffee cup. You can get yours for $29.95, and if you hurry, you can get yours for $27.95. That's a special offer, and it's going to end, I don't know. How about Sunday? That sounds good. So, this Bob coffee cup for $27.95, you have until Sunday. Makes a great gift. And I like great gifts, so thank you. Anyway, before we continue, if you can hit that like button, thumbs up, that would be great. Read somewhere, this guy teaching people how to do podcasts. And he's having a tough time with me, huh? Anyway, one thing he did say, though, was if somebody gives you a thumbs up, acknowledge that person. Say hi to that person. On the website, of course, on the YouTube site. It would be a great incentive. So I think that's what I'll do. I don't know. Maybe if I don't know if that would be a good incentive. Thinking about it. Anyway, hit the thumbs up button, okay? Thank you very much. I read today, or heard today in the news that a majority of Jews in New York City favor Trump. I think it's 52 to 46%. And I don't know why it's not 80-20. I don't know why it's not 90-10. But here's how it is, though. It doesn't matter if it's 100% voting for Trump. It's not going to make a difference in New York State. No. What's going to make a difference is when the big donors start giving money to the Trump campaign. Let me just take that back. It might make a difference in a congressional race, maybe a state race, a state senator race, city council. But as far as the entire state is concerned, come November, no, it doesn't matter. I don't understand why they do it, but they do it, and sometimes I say to myself, let them stew in their own juices. That's the people who continually vote for Democrats in these major cities. Okay, a few words about the second assassination attempt. And there are a few things. I think there's one thing we have to have ingrained in our mind. We must accept it as a truth, just as we accept death and taxes. We must accept the fact that they want him dead. Now, if you're asking who are they, I say to you, stop paying attention. Pay attention. Know what's going on in the world. That's all. But they, of course, are the Biden-Harris regime. They're behind all of this. It's coming out now that the Homeland Security is giving the FBI these leaks, and the FBI is leaking exactly to where President Trump is going to be. How else do you think a guy would wait for 12 hours on President Trump's golf course waiting for him? How else would he have picked the best spot from which he could get a shot at President Trump? Come on, use some common sense, okay? But it's not just Democrats, though. You think guys like McConnell, people like Romney, Murkowski, Collins, a whole bunch of them. You think they would shed any tears if President Trump was shot? No. So it's part of this whole one world globalist faction here that these people are advocating. And it all stems from the WEF, that's the World Economic Forum. And check out Klaus Schwab. My mother used to get a kick out of his name, Schwab. My mother's Czech, and she told me that in the Czech language, Schwab means bedbug. Or was a cockroach? It was some sort of unseemly insect you don't want to have any part of. But she would get a kick out of that. This guy is an insect. Okay, a couple of things I'd like to see, though. Well, before we do that, though, you can be sure of one thing, too, is that there will be another assassination attempt, and it won't be done by amateurs. These two amateurs, one was a 21-year-old kid, didn't know anything except by playing games or things of that nature. He got within 200 yards on a rooftop with a clear shot of the president. The other one was some head case. He went to Ukraine. Even Ukraine didn't want him. He wanted to join the Ukraine army to serve and fight. And they said, oh, no, this guy's whacked out. We don't want him anywhere near us. And I'm saying, well, wait a minute. You don't want this guy out front leading the charge? You want him on a suicide charge, right? This way he gets hit and you save some Ukrainian soldier. But no, but they shipped him back here. Okay, so there have been reports of foreign nationals sending assassination teams. And Biden, Harris, and the FBI and the CIA, and sad to say, the Secret Service are going to have their pick of which nation they can choose, which is most beneficial to the administration. In other words, which foreign national team can Biden, Harris take to strike back at them, strike back at their nation perhaps, without further damaging the Biden-Harris goal of a one-world concept. And, well, you know, they can't do it to China because they love China. Anyway, watch out for that. Just like the Reichstag fire back in Germany in the mid-30s, when the Reichstag was set fire and was blamed on communists, and this time it wasn't the communists. It was Hermann Goering who was the brains behind it. And remember now, the Nazis were National Socialists, and they were fighting the communists to take control of the country. And they were National Socialists. That's who the Nazis were. They were socialists and they were nationals. Pick one, right? I always figured that the best way to figure out who's a communist and who's a Nazi is to see which one's got the nicer uniforms. And for some reason, the Nazis always had the better uniforms. But the same principles, the same tactics. And what I like, and you know, the Trump people have been asking for months now to assign as many agents to the Trump campaign as they do to Joe Biden. So far, they haven't done it. And I wonder, why does Joe Biden need so many people? He's on the beach in Delaware somewhere. You know, under the sun, which is dangerous because you don't want that hot sun further frying the guy's brain. Maybe they got to be around him to be sure he doesn't choke on his pudding. I don't know. But why won't they assign him more agents? Go back to the first point I made. They want him dead. That's all. And if they can't do that, at least they can assign some agents who are as tall or almost as tall, maybe even a little bit taller than the president himself. I think he's 6'2" or 6'3", I don't know. Excuse me for a second. Pause that refreshes. Cheers. If you remember the optics for the first assassination attempt, you had these short female agents, 5'4", 5'5", whatever, trying to protect the president. Well, you know, I mean, if there was another shot, the only way they could protect President Trump was if the shooter was aiming at President Trump's belt buckle. Right? If he's aiming at his belt buckle, then they're going to catch the bullet. But that's not their job. Their job is to catch the bullet. And if it's aimed for his head, well, that's part of the job. You gotta catch that bullet. So there we have President Trump, got these little agents here, shorter agents, female, male, whatever, it doesn't matter. They're trying to protect him. In the meantime, his whole upper body is visible, offering a clean shot should there have been another shooter. Why? Now it goes back to the first. They want him dead. Simple as that. Okay, so let's forget about that for the time being. I hadn't got my 2 cents about that. As you know, today's the college weekend. Alabama doesn't play this week. They have a bye week till they face the Georgia Kirby's, a.k.a. the Georgia Bulldogs. Interesting game tonight, though, on Fox. Big Ten matchup. You got Nebraska, 8.5 points over Illinois at Nebraska. Now, you all know how much I like Matt Rule. I know he's a good coach. He can get his team pumped up and everything. And he just needs a couple 5-star, maybe even just 1-star. He just needs a few more 4-star recruits. And he's going to take that team even to higher levels than they are now. But still, 8.5 points, though, that's a lot of points. And Illinois is no Trump team. They've already beaten Kansas, which is number 19 in the country. 8.5 points, that's too much to give up. I'm taking the Fighting Illini. Ohio State, 40 points over Marshall. Not the Marshall Tucker band. I mean, you know, Marshall University, right? I think it's in West Virginia. 40 points. I'm taking Ohio State. Clemson, 20.5 over NC State. NC State's a bad team. Now, they're a bad team. And I hesitated about this because 20.5 is a lot. But here's the Cade Kubiak theorem. If it's a bad team, Kate will light up this field. They're a bad team. I expect a good game from Cade Kubiak. I'm taking Clemson, giving 20.5. Penn State, 48-5 over Kent State. Poor Kent State. Poor Kent State. Last week they played Tennessee. This week they're playing Penn State. And when you play those two teams, they might have a tougher schedule than Notre Dame. I'm just saying. But still, I got burnt last week with Kent State. I might get burnt again. I'm picking them to cover 48.5 points. USC, 6 points over Michigan at the Big House. Michigan home game. Michigan has got a bad quarterback. I'm not bad-mouthing the guy. But when you throw 3 interceptions in a game, but no touchdowns against a lackluster team, I forgot who they played against, but it wasn't a very good team. And I don't think they want to be embarrassed again. I'm going to pick Michigan. And USC, we'll see about them. Notre Dame, 28 over Miami of Ohio. This might be a risk, but, Notre Dame will play one game. They still might be tired from all the running they did when they scored 66 points against Purdue. I'm going to take Miami, and I'm getting 28 points. And Notre Dame's at home. Michigan's at home, as was Penn State. And Clemson's home, too. We got Louisville at home, giving 10.5 to Georgia Tech. I'm picking Georgia Tech. This game I like coming up here. I like LSU giving 24.5 in Cajun Country, Baton Rouge, against UCLA. UCLA has no offense. I think they beat Hawaii 16-13. Hawaii 16-13? That's it? No, I like LSU, and that's a best bet too on my part. Utah 2.5 away to Oklahoma State. You know, I get burnt by Oklahoma State too many times. I do. I pick them and they don't follow through. Both teams are 3-0, so this is a pretty big game in the Big 12. This game will have implications as to who wins the Big 12 and who gets a spot in the Final Four. And because of those reasons, it's a big game. It's got implications in the Big 12. I'm picking Utah, giving 2.5. And from what I heard, Cam Rising, the top-notch quarterback for Utah, is playing. Missouri 20.5 at home against Vanderbilt. Missouri didn't do too well their last game at home. Missouri's got a better team than they showed against Boston College. I think they do. We'll see. I'm taking Missouri, giving 20.5, and that also is a favorite bet of mine. I'm predicting them. I'm not liking them. The team I like so far is Louisiana State. Miami, away to Southern Florida, 16.5-point favorites. I'm picking USF. Just a guess. USF's got some good athletes. They played Alabama tough, but that was Alabama's fault. But it was also a big deal because of USF, too. USF played real good. They do have some bona fide athletes there, especially on the defensive line. Now, this game, I saw the point spread here, and I said, can this be a mistake? Tennessee, only 7 over Oklahoma? Yes, it's at Oklahoma, but still, Oklahoma hasn't done much. Tennessee has got a great team. They have the entire offensive line has returned from last year. They've got this quarterback who's tearing up college football. They got 2 bona fide great running backs. You can't stop these guys. And on defense, the same thing. In the meantime, Oklahoma has got 4 out of 5 of its offensive line were either they either got them through the transfer portal or they were transfers. I guess the same thing, right? So Tennessee's going to win. They're going to score. Now the over/under on that one is 57.5. My question is this: can Oklahoma score 21 points? Because I know that Tennessee can score 28 to 30 points. So it's up to Oklahoma to make up the rest. And I don't think they will. Ole Miss, 34.5 over Georgia Southern. Texas, 45.5 over Louisiana at Monroe. Louisiana Monroe should get points. Maybe 3 points, maybe 5 points, whatever. They should get points because their quarterback has perhaps the best name in all of college football. And throwing professional football, too. His name is General Booty. Just like General Patton, General Grant, General Dwight Eisenhower. He is General Booty. Yep. Give that team some points. And finally, K-State giving 6.5 to BYU at BYU. I'm taking BYU. Again, both teams are undefeated. I wouldn't surprise me if K-State wins, but 6.5 though. That's too much for me to give up. I could be wrong. K-State could. I predicted they were going to win last week. I predicted they have a good team, and they do. But 6.5. And let me see. I think I got a couple other teams. So I was interested in. You got California. The California Bears playing the Florida State Seminoles. Whoa, with Coach Mike Norvell. Do you understand that Norvell sounds like the name of a 1950s doo-wop band? Don't they, right? Oh, they could have come from South Philadelphia. Or from Arthur Avenue in the Bronx or whatever, right? You know, you got Dion and the Belmonts, and you got Mike and the Norvells. Now, the California Comrades, have truly been busting Florida State's chops. They've been sending out all these memes about how, California's woke and they're going to make Florida State woke and so on, so on. And they will love nothing better than to have beaten two Southern teams. The other one being Auburn, which is fine by me, you know. But you know what? Doesn't that team have any pride? Have they just mailed it in? Is that what it is? I don't have the stats with me. Let me see. Just give me a second, okay? Here we go. Right. Is California getting points? That can't be right. Yeah, it says here they're getting 2.5 over Florida State. I'm not going to touch that, but I hope Florida State can win. And then you got Baylor. They're away to the primetime Buffaloes. And they're 1.5 point. They're getting 1.5 points. That's going to be a tough game. If I was to pick, which I don't have to, I'm not going to touch that game. But it'd be nice, though, if Baylor could beat the Prime-Timers. All right, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this. I know I sure did. In the meantime, you stay healthy, stay safe, and keep vertical. And I'll talk to you later.